loves! Welcome back to my channel. Today I feel like I have flashed back to the 80s with my hair and makeup today, but I am going to be going through all of my Shop My Stash for March. Sorry this took a little bit longer than I was anticipating, but I think I overextended myself with all of the makeup that I needed to try, and then I still had, go through all my Boxycharm makeup this past month and try some other things in my collection, and I did probably way too many eye products this month, so for the month of April, I think I'm gonna have to pull it back a little bit on that. But I want to dive into all of this makeup that I have been really trying, and I've had some faves and some serious fails. Some things I've been really happy to rediscover, and some things that I'm just like, can I just use this up already, or should I declutter it? Let's jump in. Falling into the category of let's just use you up already is the Wet n Wild Concealer. This is the Photo Focus Concealer that I told you guys I'm just trying to use up. I am using it with other items. I have it on today, and I am seeing far more creasing under my eyes, like right up in here, than I normally do just with my normal concealers that I've been loving. So that almost makes me wonder if I see this like one more time, I just may declutter this, because who has time for a bad makeup day because of bad concealer? Nobody. We spend time on our makeup. This is what I'm just trying to like get rid of. So maybe I'll just move this to my eye drawer for like, just doing the concealing for the eyes. That might be what I do with that. I would definitely not repurchase this in the future, in case you're curious. There's too many good things out there to use for concealer, Something else that I've really struggled to use, because I am a creature of habit and I really enjoy powders. Powders are really where a lot of my makeup regime comes from. I love it. And creams are harder for me. So this Anastasia contour palette has just fallen off my radar over and over. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I'll use it tomorrow. Oh, okay, I'll use it tomorrow. And then I just never do. This kind of time frame in the year, I usually just want to do a light bronzer and go. Contour isn't like the top of my mind all the time, because it's that extra step right now. I'm wearing this today. I've worn this a few times, but not a lot. So that kind of tells me where I'm at with my Shop My Stash of things that I'm like, are you just hoarding great real estate in my makeup drawer? So maybe I should consider decluttering you. I've also learned these pieces right here, this is what I've really reached for more. It's the contour pieces, not the highlight pieces. When I have reached for the highlight pieces, it looks kind of patchy on me, and it starts to look cakey, whereas these don't look too bad as far as the contours go. But if I try to do a second application, like I go in and I'm like, oh, okay, that looks okay, I add a second layer just for a little bit more chisel dimension, I'm finding that this starts to get muddy on me. Now, it could be this color, because mine is in the lighter fair shade here. I do notice that if I just do it one time with these darker shades and this medium shade, I kind of mix these two most of the time, it does give me a very natural contour look. But I'm almost like, these are, you can pop these out. So I'm almost tempted just to keep these two and then get rid of this whole big palette here. So I'm glad to rediscover this and figure out if I like it as much as I thought I did, because a year ago I was really impressed with this. But it was because I never really did cream contour, so this was like my experiment, and I was impressed with how the experiment went. But that doesn't mean that it's my favorite way to apply contour makeup, honestly. So glad I retried it, but I may end up just keeping like these two pieces and then moving on with my life. Another face product that I successfully used up in my Shop My Stash series, as in it is 100% gone, I can now throw away the body. It is the Pixi Makeup Fixing Mist. I had this sitting in my collection forever. I bought it like last spring, last summer to try it. It's really a replacement for the MAC Fix Plus, because I was deciding at that point in time that I didn't want to keep throwing my money at items that were not cruelty free. That's my own personal preference, and I'm not going to throw that onto you. But I was definitely like exploring more setting sprays like through the rest of the year. So this just kind of like had this much product chilling in my drawer forever, mostly because I was trying so many other things. But when I got back to this, I was like, oh, I really like you. The smell is amazing, and I feel like it does a really good job of making all of my makeup like combine into one skin. I forgot how good this is, and this is something I may repurchase even though I just killed the bottle. But I am gonna finish going up through a few other things, so stay tuned. Another product that I think I just need to move to like a on-the-go handbag kind of makeup kit is this Contour de Force mini bronzer bronzer in 02 Woody Wonder from Sugar. I got this from my Ipsy bag. This is a good bronzer. I don't dislike this bronzer, but because of the size and the packaging and the fact that I have so many amazing bronzers in my collection, because I do love myself a good bronzer, this just kind of goes to the wayside. Even when I had it in my Shop My Stash drawer right in front of me here, I found myself going over here reaching for the other bronzers that I really like, or I was like, oh, today I want to have something a little bit shimmery. Oh, I want to have something a little bit warmer. This just fell off my radar really quickly, even though it was in my Shop My Stash. But as I remembered to pull it back out, I was like, this is good, but this is good for me on the go. It's compact, it's small. I feel like this is something that I could reach for when I have a long, maybe day out, on the weekends when I'm running around in the hot Florida sun with my husband. It's nice to have just like a little touch up in the middle of the day sometimes. So this could be something I could easily see popping in my handbag. So it was good to kind of like recognize what this would be good for and put it there accordingly so it's not taking up room in my beauty space, you know? Something that I did touch base on in my Boxycharm quarterly review was this $1 Billion Brows pencil, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. This honestly is too creamy and too red toned for me. Every time I've tried to use this sucker in tandem with my Nichole product that I told you I'd be using this month, this made my brows too bossy too quickly. I said in that video that this is really just a backup for me in case like I need something else on hand or I've gone through something, like I just finished up a ColourPop thin pencil, so I'm like, okay, I guess I'll use this for a quick second, quickly pull it through, use a light hand with it. It's not only that it's too creamy, it's also that it just pulls kind of red, and I don't have, I mean, I have some red tones in my hair, but not a lot, so it kind of stands out like a sore thumb. So this may not live a full life in my beauty space. It may end up getting decluttered after a while. I'm still kind of hoping it dries up a tinge to make it even better for me, but this one's only okay. Definitely not going to repurchase this and may declutter it in the future. The Nichole product. I am wearing this on my brows today and I see some bald spots, but nothing as bad as I thought I would see. But this definitely takes a lot more time now than it did when it was a fresh tube of eyebrow, what is this called? Like a cream? Yeah, a cream. And I wondered that. When we first got this, we were all shocked that we actually enjoyed this because we thought it was so gimmicky looking. But I did wonder at the time when we got this from Boxycharm, was this going to be something that was going to dry out? And yes, it's starting to get clumpy. It's starting to get dry. It's starting to be difficult to work with and maneuver. I guess I need to really clean this brush too because this is even getting too stiff to really properly use through my brows. So, I mean, I don't think these look terrible today, but I've definitely seen better on my brows. So this is still living its best life in my beauty space at the moment. But I'm wondering if it's only got like a month of life left. What is the ETA on this? What is the expiration? 12 months? That's maybe if you haven't opened it. I think this is going to dry up much sooner than the 12-month expiration date on this, personally. What do you guys think? Do you still have this and do you still love it? Do you think adding an oil to this would make it too creamy like the $1 Billion Brows, or do you think that would help this? If you have any thoughts or tips for this, let us know, because a lot of us loved this. I'm wearing this mascara today, and I told you this may be the one thing that did not make it through my full Shop My Stash, but it is still here. It is the LORAC, like, what is this, pomade, lash pomade. I don't understand the name of it because I don't think it's that great. I don't think it's a pomade. Unless I take a lot of time to coat and coat my lashes while they're still wet, this gives a definite no mascara look. You know what I mean? Where it's unimpressive. Yesterday I tried using this without curling my lashes and they just went straight across and just looked slightly pigmented, but nothing amazing. So today I took extra time, curled my lashes, and did a lot of coating while my lashes were wet. You definitely can't do it once they've dried. They don't lay well on top of each other once they've dried. It gets clumpy and chunky. It's like, okay, I'm looking in the mirror right now and it's definitely fallen flat since I applied this maybe an hour ago. A little more unimpressive than I was even thinking it would be. This is probably going to get decluttered very, very soon, not gonna lie. It does work okay if I use it with the Better Than Sex mascara, because I start with this and then I go in with this to try to use these two up, but not living my best mascara life with these two. Real talk. Two lippies that I am wearing today that are throwing me back to the 80s are a NYX product and a Huda product. So this is the NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream that I told you guys I was kind of surprised at myself that I purchased because it's such a bold pinky color. This is in the shade Ibiza. And when I apply this, I find it looks way too transparent, even though it's a bold ass color. I get very confused putting it on because in my viewfinder, I feel like, oh, my lips look really pink, but in person, it's very patchy, very translucent in some spots, so I kept coating it up. But it does have some staining ability and it's comfortable to wear. I'm curious if this color alone is just kind of like a dud, but if I would have gotten it in a different color, if it would have been great. I think a nude may have been, if it's similar to this, it may have been a little too like transparent for that, but I'm curious about maybe a berry tone or more of an orangey tone. I don't know. I could see myself wanting to try this again because it's comfortable to wear. It applies well, sort of. It's comfortable. It doesn't dry down really quickly. But like I said, you feel like with this color, you have to keep coating it up. But I can see myself trying another color unless one of you have tried this before and tell me that it's all just pretty much crap. Tell me. The reason this looks so Barbie pink right now, though, because this went on much more like bold, floral, coral colors, is because of this Huda strobing lip paint. Is that what this sucker's called? Yeah, it's a lip strobe. I was like, what do I do with this? When I got this in my Ipsy bag, I was like, oh yay, I've never had Huda lippy. And then it was the strobe color. And I was like, well, I guess that's good for festival season, which we are in right now. So now is the time, ladies. If you have this, to pull it out to make your lips look strobing and bold and change the base color that you've got going, that will do. This will do that. You could pop this on and it'll definitely brighten it up, definitely give you some moisture and some iridescent vibes to your lips. But I mean, in person right now, I can definitely see like the iridescent-y strobe that they're talking about. So it's kind of fun for festival season, but I could see this easily still falling off my radar because I only used this a handful of times during the month. And again, it was in my drawer to try, but it is fun for festival season. And I do love concerts and stuff. So I could see myself putting this in my handbag to just kind of like lighten it up, juice them up and go. I feel like I overextended myself with eyeshadow palettes a little bit because I put like 3 big things to try that were pretty, you know, cumbersome as far as like the quantity that I had in my Shop My Stash for eye products, and I still had palettes from Boxycharm that I was trying. So this took me a while, but I have rediscovered and learned to re-love so many of my ColourPop Super Shock shadows. Thank you. I'm dropping them. Thank you so much for those of you that asked me to retry these. I have so many in my drawer right now. I've actually hit pan on one that a lot of you asked me the color of. This is the shade Going Rogue, and I've worn this a couple of times in some videos since I started this month's series. I love it. This color, this shocked me how pigmented it was and how well it went with pinks and with reds and with greens. It's such a great base color. I gravitated to it a ton. Instead of putting these back into like a bottom drawer for me, I may relocate these in my beauty space so I can remember to use them more because I was really loving playing with these, and a few of them are starting to dry out a bit. Do you have any tips for helping me bring them back to life a little bit? They're not like super dry, but I'm looking to give some of them a little bit more life. Let me know. These LORAC palettes I have been rediscovering, and at first in the month I was using them a lot and then I backed off of them and then started pulling them back out again these past few days just to refresh my brain and have a fresh mind of what was going on with these. I forgot how easy these are to use and to create a look with. I'm wearing this palette right here. This is the Pro 2. I'm wearing this on my eyes today. This is all I'm wearing on my eyes. I don't even know if I ever delved into like the silver color before or the chrome as much, but I'm really enjoying this look. Although going with this lip, it feels super 80s and my hair is curly today, so tubular. This palette I reached for a lot earlier in the month. It's a lot more of neutral shades, cool tones. I was really surprised. Now these are super powdery and some pieces are powdery than others, but they're definitely blendable. They definitely build well on top of each other. And I almost wondered if I would declutter these when I started this series the beginning of this month because I had not touched these in a long time. But it's because I'd forgotten how good they were. So I'm happy to rediscover these and remember that these are pretty quality palettes, even though they're not like the hottest and latest greatest on YouTube or Instagram. These are still quality that I forgot that I can make some really good looks with that I haven't even like played with all these shadows yet. So this was fun to rediscover. And I gotta tell you, even though I say these are powdery, these were less powdery than the Morphe palette that I was trying from Boxycharm. Real talk. And the last palette that I was rediscovering a lot this month was my Jaclyn Hill palette. This sucker is huge, so you want to make sure you're using it. A lot of times when I go into this palette, these, like this whole, like, I don't know, quad up here, these 8 shades are something I reach for a lot because I like a good blendable, neutral, matte shade to kind of start an eye look with or start building up some color in the crease. These 2 highlights are really great. I've always said this palette is absolutely missing a light matte cream shade. I still wish this had that. And I definitely like played with these bold shades yesterday. I was just literally layering up and layering up and layering up just to see what they would look like. So I've got some, how do I say this? So this palette was I was obsessed with this palette when I got it. So many of you guys told me when I told you I didn't want it, Nichole, go get it, you'll love it. You guys were right. I remember raving about this palette for months after I got it, to the point that I had to make myself back off of it because I was talking about it too much on my channel and I needed to try other things. But I can tell you now that I'm a year later and I'm rediscovering some of these shadows compared to some of my newer things in my collection, this is good, but I wouldn't give it as high of a grade as I would have then. Like these shimmer shades, I think this is SBN Smoky But Natural. I remember loving this. There's a huge divot in it. I used it a ton. Using this just with my finger, or I mean even with a wet brush, this was not as pigmented as I remember in my head it being, and I guess compared to some other things that I have in my collection now that are like super pigmented, right there, it coats your eyeball with no problem. This I really had to delve into a lot to build it up. I still really love the shade Pool Party, and in the beginning of the month I definitely delved into this color. I played with it again yesterday. I actually put all 4 of the boldest shades on my eye yesterday, layered them up, put a little SBN on the top of it, packed it in, and just kind of went about my day. And that was about 3 or 4 in the afternoon. I'm sad to say, come the evening at like 11 p.m., it was totally faded. And yes, I had primed my eyes. My crease was still pretty decent with a warm crease up here, but these had totally like just worn down. I do have some staples in this palette that I do really love. Pukey is one of my favorite colors. It's something that really speaks to my skin tone and the eye looks I like to do. I really enjoy this. Like I said, a lot of these matte shades up here are good. I've actually reached for some of these redder tones over here. I think this is Roxanne, which one of these over here I've reached for a lot too. It's got a good dip in it. This has some pieces that I still really like, and I'm still grateful to have it in my collection. It still has a place in my personal beauty collection. But would I give it the same grade I would have a year ago now that I've tried more makeup and I have a wider range in my collection? Probably not. And that is no shade at Jaclyn. This has nothing to do with her. It's just like the shades at the time and the formulas at the time were standout. Now there's a lot more competition on the market is really what it is, and we have a lot more formulations that we play with. We have a lot more creams, we have a lot more super shocks, we have a lot more players in the game really. So as good as this was a year ago, I'm still keeping it, I'm still going to use it, but I do pair this a lot with other things in my collection because they're just a little bit better in some ways. You know what I mean? Guys, I think that is everything in this Shop My Stash, and thank you for your patience with this. I've just had so much to go through that I wanted to give you a respectful review where I could get a little bit more in depth with it. So thank you so much for watching, and let me know if there's anything in my next Shop My Stash for April that's apparently going to half months now, so it's kind of like I'll probably do the update in May at some point. Let me know what you're wanting me to try that maybe you've seen me with Boxycharm have or drugstores. Let me know. If you are new to my channel, hi new friends, I hope you take a quick moment to hit that subscribe button down below to see all the fun, loud, weird, unique videos I put out every single week.